No good being a squirrel when there is an air gunning expert around. Matt Dubber is out with Kai at Bryn. After squirrels, there's news and there is Airstreaming. Welcome to AirHeads.
Nailed it right in the head.
Matt Dubber is a rising star on YouTube with his South African airgun antics. The air rifle addict covers all sorts of technical topics and hunts curious game and pest species with stunning backdrops. He's over here on a busman's holiday with Kai, who is trying to supply as much UK hunting as possible. Today, it's grey squirrels.
So the idea is Matt's come over for a week. He's going to learn a bit about what we do in the UK in terms of vermin and pest control. So you're looking forward to it?
Definitely. It's a beautiful day. It's the first time I've seen the sun come out since I've been here. But it's awesome. Beautiful countryside, very different to what I'm used to back home.
Yeah.
So I think it should be an awesome experience. Looking forward to it.
I've been wanting to come to the UK ever since I bought my first proper air rifle, because the hunting culture here with air rifles, let's just face it, it's the best in the world. So I've made a few contacts in the UK over the past few years, but I think getting in contact with Kai, I think Kai and I are basically like brothers from another mother.
Like that, I'm on top.
We both bearded hooligans that love shooting, and so it was very natural for me to get in contact with Kai, and we spoke over the phone, over Skype a few times, had a few conversations. And it just worked out perfectly, so I'm very grateful to be here.
Matt is a big Air Arms fan and does films for their YouTube channel as well as his own, Air Arms Hunting South Africa.
Right, so if you've got the S410 TDI there, so if you put that together, I'm just going to get the S510. You're familiar with that one, aren't you?
I love this gun.
It's such a good gun.
And it's not like some other takedown rifles where you actually have to re-zero the gun every time you put it back together.
Exactly. I mean, you know as well as I do how easy it is.
I really love the pistol grip as well.
It's a really good grip, isn't it? It's a good feel
on it.
It's
nice and small, and it molds very well to your hand with all that stippling there.
This is box fresh, Matt. This is
fantastic.
It sings when you open it.
Oh. This magazine is just dead easy to fill. There's no like fancy mechanism. It's just straight out, drop them in, rotate.
But they stayed like this for a while. They haven't changed, because it works.
It works. It's perfect. And the nice thing is that they're not too expensive to replace.
No, not at all.
It's not much that can go wrong in them either. It's not like you rely on the magazine itself for the cycling.
Yep.
Cycling mechanisms on the gun. So you don't pay for a new cycling mechanism every time you buy a new magazine.
When I put it in, I always put a half twist on it as well, because what happens is if you leave it full, sometimes
pellet falls out.
Yeah, so I always give it a half twist.
That's smart. I've never thought of that. I usually just keep 9 pellets in there. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier.
Every day is a school day, Matt. Just released it. It's probably about 160 now, I guess. Now it's just ready to go.
Time to zero the rifles. Matt does shoot sub 12 foot-pound rifles in South Africa, but he's been using an FAC of late, so he needs to get his eye in. The guys have set themselves up for different ranges. Then they head off to look for those pesky squirrels. It's all new to Matt. Matt doesn't hesitate when our first squirrel presents a shot. And it's his first British pest species under his belt.
My first squirrel, or my first tree squirrel. I've shot plenty of ground squirrels before back at home, but this is a new experience for me. I'm not used to aiming up high in the trees and shooting them. See the blood coming out of his ears, so a good headshot. And I couldn't be happier. Very, very happy. It's a good start. Awesome. Ground squirrels have massive testicles.
Kai suggests that we sit and wait rather than stalk, as they seem to be focusing in on this part of the wood. It's a moment to get to know Matt and the airgun scene in South Africa.
There isn't really a huge airgun hunting culture or airgun culture at all, because we have so many big game animals to shoot. So people kind of throw the air rifle side under the carpet and don't really know much about it. But about 5 years ago, I picked up an S410 carbine for the first time. It was one of my friend's rifles that he had bought to shoot some pigeons with. And I picked it up for the first time and I absolutely fell in love with it. And since then, it's just taken over my life. I started filming a few videos for YouTube a few years ago, and I was just absolutely amazed at how things took off. And it's just all been uphill from there. My YouTube channel went viral and things started going crazy. I made a lot of friends from all over the world, including Kai, who's now invited me over here to shoot. So it's amazing that just from picking up a PCP for the first time ever, about 4 or 5 years ago, things have just been amazing. It's been quite an awesome journey, and I'm very grateful to be here. What I really like about air rifle hunting is that apart from the initial cost of the rifle, it's really cheap. It's not impossible to go out and put 200 pellets through the gun, whether that's hunting or whether it's just target shooting. And that's what you can't do with like a big bore or centre fire rifle. You can't just go out and let the lead fly, because it will cost you an arm and a leg. With an air rifle, you've got the freedom to do that, and there aren't as many restrictions. You can hunt in close quarters, you can shoot in close quarters, and you don't really have to worry about what's hundreds of meters down the line. You can just go out and have fun, and that's what I love about the sport. I would really like to see more of air gunning actually take off in South Africa. There are 1 or 2 places that offer big bore air rifle hunting close to where I live in the Eastern Cape, where you can go and you can shoot springbuck, impala, duiker, a lot of even warthogs, smaller game with big bore air rifles. And up in Zimbabwe as well, I know there's 1 or 2 places where you can do an airgun safari, but it hasn't really taken off yet. I would like to see that happen in the near future. Our sporting side of air rifles is actually really good in South Africa. We've got one of the best field target teams in the world, one of the best bench rest teams in the world. But even though the sport is so tiny, so we've got potential, it would just be nice to see it take off like it has here. I think the UK has pretty much set the standard of what the rest of the world should follow. I think the way that there's so many companies making air rifles here, so many people that have bought into the sport, my dream is to really see the same thing happen down in the dark continent of Africa. That's what I'd really like to see. It's amazing to see how things have taken off in South Africa over the past few years since I've started doing this. There'll be people who I visit on farms who are kind of away from social media, away from hearing news about what's new on the market in terms of air guns, and the only air guns they know are cheap break barrel Chinese guns that aren't capable of really taking out anything, even from 20 meters or so. They're just not powerful enough, not accurate enough. And when they see what these PCP air rifles can do, they see how accurate they are and how powerful they can be, they kind of see things through a new perspective, and they kind of realize that actually it's probably worth getting one because it makes pest control around the farmyard much easier. And even guys who want to take on sport shooting. In schools around South Africa, we've got more and more schools that are buying into the idea of doing shooting as a sport, and I would also like to see that take off more, because there's a lot of potential in that. It's great to see young school kids enjoying shooting air rifles and being competitive about it and going to national competitions and provincial competitions. It's a great way to get started in the sport.
Kai's decision to watch and wait pays off, and he pulls a great 40+ yard shot.
That's a long way off. I'm going great with a 12-foot pound rifle. That's a really good shot. Nailed it right in the head.
So it's 1 each for the Air Arms boys, and a perfect photo opportunity for Facebook.
David films me taking a picture of Matt taking a picture of... That's art.
To see more of Matt using Air Arms rifles, go to Air Arms TV.
From squirrels to a tougher nut to crack, it's David with Hotair.
This is Hotair. Airgun manufacturer AirArms has been rewarding young shots. The youngest member of the AirArms FT team, Jack Harris, receives the AirArms Order of Merit after a year that saw him win the BFTA Grand Prix Series, both the BFTA British Masters and Showdown, and take second place in the World Field Target Championships in Lithuania. There's a 1 in a million squirrel in Cheshire. This white-grey squirrel, photographed at Marbury County Park in Cheshire, is not albino but leucistic, a mutated gene which means it doesn't have pink eyes. There are 5 million squirrels in the UK and probably fewer than 5 leucistic squirrels. The newest member of the GB Under-21 shooting squad started shooting in the Scouts. 15-year-old Alice Wilson from Cornwall won her place at the South West Regional Rifle Championships. She first picked up a rifle at her scout group a year ago and is now a member of St Austell Rifle and Pistol Club. So, what's on offer at the numerous possible game fairs in July next year? So far, very little. The Stoney event has Ruag as a standholder, which makes RWS pellets. The other game fair is at Ragley Hall a week later and has made no airgunning announcement as yet. Gammo has introduced 2 new airguns to the US market. The Big Cat 1250DX fires a 177 pellet at 1,250 feet per second. The new Wasp airgun is an entry-level rifle priced at under $200. And finally, the November edition of Popular Science magazine features an airgun that fires ping-pong balls at half the speed of sound. In an experiment to demonstrate Boyle's law, which shows how pressure is inversely related to volume of course, the ping-pong cannon shoots balls at 300 miles per hour. A world-class table tennis player can smash the ball at just 70 miles an hour. You are now up to date with Hotair, aiming for accuracy, targeting the truth.
Let's move it out, it's Airstreaming.
Charlie Jacoby here. This is my roundup of the best air gunning on YouTube. It's Hunting with Hardman episode 2 and he is stalking the woods in search of vermin that are taking advantage of a bumper autumn. Ex-Zyver is on another airgun hunting adventure after grey squirrels. He's using an Airgun Matador R3M airgun. Airgun man Glenn Elliott takes down an 11-pound Northern California jackrabbit with a 50-yard headshot from his Benjamin Trail Nitro Piston 2. Keep up to date with the UK field target world with Andy's Range. It is the MFTA Winter League Round 2 at Purley Chase, one of the oldest clubs in the country. On the bench rest front and moving to the USA, it is the 2015 Extreme Bench Rest event, the 5th annual competition hosted by Airguns of Arizona. Unusual and from the airgun trade, a small town in Florida is using Gammo air rifles to keep their growing iguana population in control. Addicted to Airguns brings out a review of FX Airgun's newest PCP, the Impact, which comes in calibers including .22, .25, .30 and Arrow. And finally, a pumpkin carving contest airgunner style. It's Halloween with guns. Click on the links to watch the videos or you will find them in this film's description. If you'd like to send in a video for Airstreaming, ping me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. If you're not so keen on those, here's a good film on the AirArms YouTube channel. They are choosing the right air rifle stock with Matt Dubber. Stocks come in many shapes, sizes and weights. Different situations and different shooting styles call for different features. Some wood is harder than other wood and synthetic stocks will limit damage. Comfort is key. You won't get good results if you can't relax behind the scope. For more about AirArms, go to airarms.co.uk and to watch the film in full, click on the link on the screen.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. This has been AirHeads. See you in a couple of weeks.